Hello, and welcome to another energetic episode of the Lagos Youth Show on Lagos Television. As usual, this is that one show where we bring you all of the sweet conversations and gist as it relates to the young, amazing minds of Lagos State. Bringing all the gist all the way from Ikeja, Badagry, Ikorodu, Lagos Island, and of course our young, amazing mind in Ekpe. Yes, we bring you all of the gist as it relates to entertainment, education, fun, employment, engagement, everything you can think of, all in one show. As usual, my name is Tosin Ikuyiminu, and I'm not going to be doing this alone now.
Yes, you will not be doing it alone. All right, yeah, you won't be doing it alone because I am here with him, and we would be, doing this together, giving you that which we've brought for you today.
Absolutely.
That conversation about the youth, what you need to know, the youth inclusion.
Absolutely.
Inclusion.
Inclusion. Yeah.
All right, because it is important that, as a youth in Lagos State, there are things which you need to know on your inclusion as a youth living in Lagos State. I am Oluwatosi Olajide, and you're welcome to the Lagos Youth Show.
You're welcome. Interestingly, we're going to be having a very super engaging conversation, particularly as it relates to youth inclusion and governance. Yeah. We have a young, amazing mind that will be joining us as we talk really, what does youth participation in governance really involve. On that note, let's keep the conversation. As we go on a quick break, we'll be right back with our guests. Yes, it's still the Lagos Youth Show, and as we promised, it's going to be an interesting conversation, particularly as it relates to governance. Of course, you know that Lagos State is one interesting state that, when it comes to youth participation and youth representation in governance, is of an interesting number. But the real conversation here is young people are beginning to ask them some interesting questions around what does youth representation really mean? Are young people really participating in governance? And beyond tokenism, is there something more young people should be doing? All of these conversations and more would be what would inspire our dialogue for today, as we have an interesting guest.
Of course, we have a guest with us, and his name is Kudus Balogun, and he is a supervisor, the supervisor for youth and sports, IRU, VI Local Council Development Area. That's LCDA. That's IRU, VI LCDA. Good to have you, Kudus.
Thank you so much. Good.
So let's just dive straight to it, right, Kudus? I mean, in recent times, I've seen some of the interesting activities you've been involved in your local government, and it's quite interesting. But let me ask you, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. What does youth representation really mean in governance today?
Well, if I'm going to speak at a personal level, my belief of that catchphrase is that youth representation should move from just being outside of the discussion, being on the table where these decisions have been made, where structures and policies that affect the youth in a larger sense is being made, and not just by representation. They should be part of the people that makes this decision, that builds this structure or policies that affect the youth. So it is more than just being listeners to what is being put in place for us, but being part of those people that makes this decision.
Okay, so what is the importance of for youth to have a seat at the table, to be there when decisions are being made?
The importance is not so far-fetched. It is not even, I feel like it's a necessity, and the importance is that we, the youth, understand what we want and what works for us. And when you look at, for a country where innovation is supposed to be and the talk of today, frustration is the talk of today. And so when you see we have a lot of vibrant youth that understands what the society needs And that is why it is important for this youth to be on the table to make these decisions, formulate these policies that works best for the youth gap in real sense.
Oh, interesting. And there's a conversation because I've been privileged to be in some meetings, and there's a conversation I've seen among young people like yourself, and the conversation is, how do we move beyond tokenism, right, for young people? There's a lot of conversation, particularly for partisan politics.
Right.
You see people say, we gave this person SSA youth after that parastatal that it has to do with youth. If it has anything to do with other key parastatals, you don't put young people. They will just the young people, they are not ready. Just put them in youth. Put them in youth. You know. So beyond giving people appointment as a result of their partisan, engagement and all of that, and just giving them small tipping as young people when we gather together, how should we start doing it better? And what are the conversations you would like to have with key stakeholders like the government, in usual, to see how young people can go beyond that and start, getting to the right positions and doing the things that should be done?
Well, thank you for your perspective. Tokenism has been something that has been long entrenched in our youths, especially for partisan youth, for the little that I know in Lagos State, And to be honest, the discussions are already shifting from tokenism. When you see the level of participation, both from the informal politics and formal politics, we now see youths that are now chairing up conversations on what are the governments doing, what are they doing with the money they get for development and all of those things. Those are the informal ones that speak online and all of those things. And yes, we have the ones that are partisan, that, when political seasons arises, they are the ones that chair up youth mobilizations and all of those things. And it is quite interesting to see in this day and now. And what I feel like should be the discussion is, it shouldn't just be that we deserve a seat. It should be, why are we being asked to wait? And just like you said, we shouldn't just be restricted to just the youth catchment. So, and I see in Lagos State has been doing great, actually. We now have different platforms that gives opportunities to youth to go beyond just the partisan routes. You can go through the technocrats and all of that. We have the likes of Latif Jakonde Academy, and they're doing so wonderful well. And also we have Ibile Youth Academy as well that has impacted a lot of youth. So I think Lagos State is sharing a new path of what leadership should be in real sense, and it shouldn't just be about partisan. It shouldn't just be about tokenism, like you mentioned. It should be about real impact, innovative ideas, and policies that has to do with development that the youth literally needs. For example, I personally, I always say it, I'm a product of this state because this state has invested so much in me. From transformational leadership to youth exchange trip in Spain and so many other transformational conversations and initiatives. So with the kind of mindset and trainings that I've gone through, with this position that I'm in now as the supervisor for youth and sport in my local council development area, I don't just see leadership as politics. I see it as a platform whereby we can have informed youth, youths that think innovatively, youths that want to do things differently. So that is why it is important. It's not just about advocating for them to be on the seat. It is about equipping them with the knowledge that they need to see themselves beyond just tokenism and political appointments.
Okay. So having said that, preparing youths for leaders, for the leadership position.
Right.
What role does mentorship and education play?
It plays the major part.
Both, right?
Both goes. They are intertwined.
Okay.
Education and mentorship. And the mentorship, you can't take out experience, regardless of the fact that we want youth leadership. Experience and innovations can work hand in hand. So that is where we do not need to have the whole table to ourselves. We're saying, put us in that table, let your experience match the energy of the innovation we are bringing. So let us collaborate.
You know, okay, let's I like the angle you pointed, right? But let's speak to some of the issues.
Okay.
And I want you to be very, very honest, right? To be politically accurate or correct, but at the same time to be consciously fair, right? Are young people really, really ready, right? And the reason why I'm asking that question is we have the likes of the current president, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, if you look at, for him, when politics started for him, it was really around his, you know, early 30s, right? Late 20s, early 30s. Even that of late President Muhammadu Buhari. Even from the military regime,
down to,
you know, he was around his 30s, and many other, you know, leaders, Murtala and the likes. You know, if you check all the numbers, you see these people started out when they were young, and they didn't start out, you know, running youth groups. They start activism. Out participating in real governance. So the tough question that I want you to be honest is, you work with young people in your local council, right, area. Do you think this set of young people that we are seeing now today, are they really ready to take on this mantle?
I would say 70.
You actually took it.
To be fair, I believe we still have a larger number that are not ready.
Okay.
To be fair. And I would say 60-40, and that 40% are those that have gone through the route of mentorship and gone through the route of education, just like we've mentioned. And I can boast that they have what it takes to lead the youth towards the path that we need in the coming years. So, but in general sense, I don't think we are ready yet. And also another thing is for the informal, you know, we have the formal partisan and the informal ones, which all they do is castigate the government, and they submit themselves to informations that are, I don't know how to put it. You know, when you look at the social media space today, the youth dominate that space. But the kind of conversations they have is not information that are backed by facts. It's just based on some informations that they see online that are not even fact-checked. And that is why I said we are not ready. We are easy to castigate the government, but we are not providing solutions to some of these issues. So we are not ready. We are just discussing. When we are ready, we would see more youths that are willing to equip themselves. They are willing to go through the route of mentorship and education, and I believe in the nearest future.
Okay, so getting ready. How can youths be ready?
First, we can't take away partisan. If you want to be part of those that are making those differences, you should not just accuse the government. Be part of the process. Okay. You know, get your PVCs, understand governance, and also put yourself in positions whereby your voice is going to be heard. So that is one. And also, I believe that if you want to make changes, you have to be the change yourself. You know, let people see that change come from you. Be that roadmap. And one thing about influence is when people see you do something and they feel you're doing right, they go with you, they follow you. So that's why we have the likes of VDM. I don't know if I mentioned him. You see, when his activism actually started from fighting for the people. And you see, when people understood his cause, they rallied behind him, they gave him the support. So do something different, be innovative, be astute with your views, and let whatever you say be fact-checked, and be verifiable. You know, you definitely have those people that are willing to follow.
Okay, so there are a lot of things, there are a lot of things that go on online that you get to see about governance and all that. And there is something they say, it said there is no smoke without fire. And there are a lot of things, the things that are being said, when you look, even if you don't fact check or check if it's right or no, you just feel like this is just it. So how then do you want to know, okay, this is actually true, this is actually not true, okay, maybe it's kind of true, you know?
You know, we can't deny that some are there, like you said, there is no smoke without fire. But I believe there are some that you still need to, there are some verifiable facts that you still need to source for yourself. Personally, I don't jump into conversations without fact checking. And when I see that, wait till they talk not true, I just
take the back.
So I feel like information as well plays a major role. Let's try to, just like what you're doing, you try to paint different informations about positive reforms.
Okay, okay. On that note, let's keep up the conversation with Kudus. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Yes, it's still the Lagos Youth Show, and the conversation is still going on. Youth representation as usual. It's been awesome having Kudus here in the studio with us, discussing it. On that note, Kudus, I would like to hear from you with regards to how, and interestingly, you've mentioned a whole lot of things, but there are a lot of young persons out there, right? And one way or the other, we sort of have an idea on how you started, right? What are your advice to young people that want to participate, contribute their own quota to youth representation, and contribute to governance in their own little way? What are your advice to them?
My advice, I would say you can't want change and still hide yourself. Come out, be seen, take charge. And just like I've said earlier, you can't give what you don't have. So you need to, first of all, be innovative yourself, equip yourself, like go for trainings and the likes. Learning doesn't stop. So when you're being called upon, you have something to pour. So be ready, take charge, and when you're being called upon, lead the charge. See, and let me on this note also pass this message to my fellow supervisors for youth and social development and sport, whatever, in the local government area. When you look at the number of appointments that is being made, I think this is the first time that it is being well spelled out to our supervisors for youth in local government. So this is a message to all of us. We are now the pioneers of this journey. So whatever we do now will stand as a statement to why it is important to have youth take charge of this offices and opportunities. So let us try. It is not a decoration seat. It is a seat to change the narrative why the youth are important and why the youth should also be leading the discussions on youth development. So this is an opportunity for us to actually change that narrative of wait for your time. The time has been given to you now. So this is when you should use it and paint a different narrative.
On that note, would like to, appreciate you once again for coming around.
Thank you so much.
We know you have started. You said it's barely a month, and we know you would, represent the youth of IRU, VI, LCDA very well. You've advised your colleagues. And since you've done that, I want to assume you represent too.
Definitely.
That's our job.
All right, so it's good to have you once
again.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you very much for representing the youth, and thank you for representing yourself, because you're putting yourself out there even at that.
Thank you for lending us a voice and a platform.
On that note, as we wrap up, let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Yes, it's still the Lagos Youth Show, and it has been an engaging conversation so far around youth representation. I mean, a lot of things Kudus mentioned, and we really, really need to become a society where we have young people that are conscious about contributing their quota. And beyond the tokenism, like you mentioned, we need to look into how we can be positioned and prepared for the mantle and the mandate when it comes, right?
Yeah, of course. And, you need to be prepared. When you're prepared, when you are filled with knowledge, when you're filled with things that you're meant to know as a youth, that would, help you as a leader. When the time comes, it will be easy. It will be like piece of cake.
Piece of cake. And beyond just the conversations on social media, I think there's a whole lot more we can do as young people. Beyond just the conversation. If it require you to join a political party, please do. Please do. If it require you to go to your local government to serve, please do. If it require you to go and seek the right mentorship, please do. We all need to, figure out a way to which we can crack this code and contribute significantly in our society.
Of course, yes, it's important. I think we should, just wrap it up here. They say draw the curtain. Let's draw the curtain here for today. Till we come your way some other time, let's catch up. I am Oluwatosin Olajide.
And I am Tosin Ikuyiminu. See you on the next one. Peace.